Hi, Dyslexic Genius here, Brett Hurt. My phone number is 864-236-1680, or you can email me at dyslexicgeniushurt@gmail.com. While I'm waiting for the spring to be custom made for the camera phone, the Excelda, I'm going to do the reproducer. It's basically you're rebuilding a Columbia reproducer, but there's a little bit of a difference. On the backing plate, you have this piece, and then this piece here goes on the inside like that, and that fits like that. And there's two gaskets in there. So you have a bottom gasket here, then this piece, the yoke, fits in, and then you have another gasket material on this. Then you have two gaskets, one here, then the diaphragm, and then one more. You do these with a Victor exhibition gasket material like this, the small stuff. And the other thing I want to point out a few things. I've never talked about it, but I am. You can test your mica. If you listen closely, you hear that ding, the mica is good. You didn't hear a thud sound, so the mica is still good. The other problem with Exceldas is the label on the inside, which is paper, which has a tendency to fall apart and come apart. And when you line up the screws, it says Excelda. So when I was taking the Excelda apart, I noticed that the paper label had come off the backing plate. And how do we fix this? If you use glue or anything, the glue is going to come through the paper and show. So on restorations, let's say this piece of aluminum is the hole of the hole inside the backing plate. So what I do is I put a little shellac on a card like this, and I file out a piece of wood, this stir spoon, and this is the backing plate, and this is the label paper plate. They're very, very fragile. When you take them apart, and if it's floating on the inside, you have to be very careful in taking that out first, because if you start to push the mica and everything out, it'll rip the label, this Excelda label. So after you have your shellac on a card, and say this is the label, and we're setting it on the backing plate right here, you're going to gently take a sharp pointed piece of wood like this, and you're going to take a little drop of shellac, and you're not going to go like this. What you're going to do is you're going to get a little bit of shellac, and you're going to come in like this with the shellac. Doop. And you're going to make little dots like that. And to speed things up, you can blow on the shellac, but you need to center it first. So now when you look at the backing plate, you can see I've made little dots of shellac, and it's not running into the paper, because when you put the gasket in, the first gasket in and everything together, you won't see a thing. Plus, this is still loose in here, but it's not touching the mica. When I pulled it apart, the Excelda label was touching the mica. Also, one other thing, when you take it apart, the screws holding the assembly to go into the tone arm, this piece here and this, are shorter screws than the screws here. So you have two different size screws on this, on the back. Most reproducers have a set length and it's the same screw through the reproducer like a Victor, but not these. These have two different size screws.
So are these the old gaskets then?
Yeah, these are the old gaskets. That little one right here is what holds the yoke that goes into the tone arm. And that one here longer holds the backing plate into place. Then it's basically a reassembly, like you measure out your gasket material, you cut it to fit, then you put the diaphragm in, then you put the other one in, you bolt everything together. The other trick quick is I'm cleaning the mica. You want to clean it with a soft cloth and Windex. That will clean the mica and make it shiny and bright again. This is a lot of fun, and that's my tip for the day.